I'm happy I can finally do this video. I've been waiting for a few days, if not weeks, in order to do this one. There was always something coming up between me and the screen, if you will. You know, it's been a long time. I've been working on something that I call interactive videos, roughly speaking. It's based on a language that I came up through practical experimentation on video streaming on the internet that I call VBML. You know, it's not a fancy idea or let's invent a language for video or whatever. It just came up from expertise and experience of parsing and extracting video resources on the internet for more than 10 years. As you know, I've worked, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I've been working on the libVLC, which is a genuine video streaming library APIs, which work quite well. I'm also working with libtorrent and the Qt framework, and so it's been a long road. Let's just say that. And as of right now, I'm ready to start communicating about interactive videos, which I think are interesting because of the convergence between generative artificial intelligence, as we call it, you know, in the realm of video in particular. So that aspect together with recent innovation on the streaming front, and in particular what I've been working on. So let me just show you, and you know, I'm still not too sure what to think about it or whatever. It's been mostly an experimentation process and an innovative process, but that's the good thing about it. When it's new, you're not too sure what it's headed, but it's exciting and it's interesting. And so I'll just connect to my platform. I actually have a video platform. I didn't know I would come up with one, but it's based on the PeerTube project. If you don't know PeerTube, you should go check them out. They're impressive in terms of what they can do, but they're also impressive in terms of code implementation. I didn't know I would end up liking, which may be a bit of a strong word, but enjoying web development, but it happens to be fairly straightforward. And so I took PeerTube and essentially modded it in order to make it work with the my VBML language, which is essentially, instead of having the raw data on the platform, you just have a metadata, and then retrieving that metadata, your client, here it's Motion Monkey, will be able to access to the raw video bytes if you want. So here I'm going to click on the tiny house. And so when clicking on the tiny house, I essentially connect to the video hub of Vox. So that's the video equivalent of the website, but there's an entire website. You can go to omega.gg/Vox if you want to check for the web version of that, but I think I'll communicate about that in another video. So in order to showcase you, let me check that the sound is okay. Yeah, the sound should be good. So in order to show you what it's all about, I'll just click on trending here. And trending is essentially the recent video that have been pushed to the platform. So as of right now, there's not a lot, but yeah, there's already a few things there. So today we're all about interactive videos. That's the first video I'm doing for that. I might do other ones explaining how it's made and so on. But right now I'd like to show you something that's called Swap the Road. So let's connect on this. So yeah, this is Swap the Road. You might recognize, maybe you recognize that video, and for a reason, because it was part of the Sora generative AI communication. You might have seen that one on their website. There's like a bullet point of what their engine would be able to do, which is essentially, I like the essentially word, essentially start from a video that you generate and then create variation from the same video, but while retaining the structure of the video, if you will, so that there'll be coherence between one and the other generation. And so what I did there is essentially download all the different variation of the video they did for that car here, which is running on the single lane road. Interesting. And so, you know, I picked all of these and create an interactive, a basic interactive video from that. And so here you have the base version, but if I start clicking on this interactive video tag, First of all, you might notice that the hover is actually supported, and that's a fairly precise hover. Keep in mind that the interactive part of the video you're seeing there is embedded in the video, so that's not an overlay like what you might see on other propositions that are already online. That's genuine QR code integrated in the video, and I'm parsing each frame in order to scan these. So that's more advanced than what you might be used to. So let's click there. And now we're in another universe. It's a retro universe, if you will. You might see glitches here and there, but I think it's a fairly interesting video in order to demonstrate the basic swapping interactive possibilities here. And so every time I click on that tag, I go to another dimension. Now we're underwater. Let's maximize this. So the video does not loop properly on itself, unfortunately, but yeah, it's still fairly interesting to swap from one video to the other. Here's another one, that would be the desert. Here's the rainbow one, that's a bit, it's not my favorite actually. The snow. As you can see, the loop is not perfect unfortunately, but I've heard eventually this kind of engine, if you say so, will be able to generate perfectly looped videos. That one is a bit of a goofy one. It's like a kid's playground here. Let's swap that. Desert. I do like that one. It's a cyberpunk futuristic one actually. And in the background you might notice that there's like a chill wave loop. That's actually a YouTube live radio that's running as a background. So with VBML you're able to create interactive videos and then specify a background music so that it doesn't get dull. I think it's actually a fairly good, that might be a fairly good way to push radios online in the future. Having interactive scenery that you can switch from might be cool actually. Here's a horse. Here's the dinosaur declination of it. That's Minecraft here. You can navigate through the video if we want via quick access here. And back to the first one. Okay, fairly simple. Now, once that you've seen that, let me show you the VBML script that's behind this, okay? Let's go there. And here you go. So what I'm doing here is essentially defining a bunch of video subsets which are chunks of video. Then I specify a base context so that when you initially play the video it will start by the first chunk here. And I have a very simple swap function here that's based on what's in the QR code that you see on screen, with a bunch of if-else essentially here that returns the corresponding ID, and gives it back if you want to the video engine. And here is a simple template that I'm applying a bunch of times with the famous ambient that I mentioned. That's the chill wave radio right here. And here is the source for the video, because there's a single source for that video. It's a chunk, a subset, you know, of, what would you say, video vignettes inside of a single video source. And just like that, you create a video like this. So it's a bit like the Hello World sample, if you want. So it's a very simple one. You might not be too impressed by it, but the architecture is there. And in the upcoming video, I'll show you a bit of a more advanced demos. So stay tuned for this one, and thank you very much for your attention. Let's go underwater here.